And I'm gonna do my next move is to force you to move out. But anyway.
Okay, so this is a video of the illegal trial, 2023 illegal trial, the next illegal trial. Judge Stephen Marcus, I believe that's probably a Jewish name, stating on the transcripts, by the way, that they're making it extremely impossible for me to order the full transcripts with all the pre-trials and all the illegal things done, like statements from Terrence Scroggins that I suffer from mental illness, which is hearsay. It can't really be used. It's just some random opinion by some guy that's trying to steal all my money. Judge Stephen Marcus stating my next step would be to squeeze you out of your place.
And I'm gonna do my next move is to force you to move out. But anyway.
Now let's break down that sentence here. My next step states that I have motive and an agenda. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm trying to get rid of you. But why are judges in Van Nuys Courthouse trying to get rid of me, and not at one location? Every location I've ever been since a young child, especially in Colorado. My first apartment on 2020 Arapahoe with Eric Feely and Matt, who bring home a gay guy that I don't sleep with, and after that, worldwide groups and coffee shops state that I'm homophobic and I hate gay people and stalk and hunt. And that's just one of these thousands of worldwide defaming lies with unlimited government dollars that goes out since a very young age that I'm not allowed to talk about. I'm not allowed to defend myself. Let's stick with Judge Stephen Marcus. Amongst all the judges, Eric Harmon, Neetu Bottom-Smith, court reporter Debbie Woolman, which owned the property adjoining the wall of my place since I moved in, never really lived in it. That's important because court reporter Debbie Woolman is running around with her 2 cents, some lady I'm not even friends with, who thinks she knows my mental health status by her psychic vibes. You know, she just pulls something out of her fucking ass to get what she wants with her judicial friends, linked to my family, Jennifer Pilchick Perelman. But Stephen Marcus states my next step, this is before the trial, my next step in the pre-trial, my next step would be to squeeze you out of your place, showing that he's working with all the neighbors and the Homeowners Association and security companies to stalk and hunt, which implies that really he wants to steal. He wants the property, or he's working with someone in the HOA or neighbors to try to steal everything I have and make me disappear, because his next step shows obsession and hate. It doesn't show the judicial process and law and order, and he's a judge on a case, skewing the case towards what he wants, and prosecutor Orbelli is fabricating every known situation or taking everything out of context. Example, if you pass out cards to someone saying you've been lied to and these people are stalking me, that in her mind means I'm dangerous, which is actually the correct thing to do, is to stop a situation from escalating into violence instead of helping the situation escalate into violence. But what are they doing since 5? They're trying to escalate situations into violence to make me look like a violent paranoid schizophrenic with Jason Perelman and Ron Perelman and Anita Perelman out of pure hatred for a 5-year-old with their judicial friends. Mike Huntley states, in 2001, we are using the judicial system against you. You had better live a careful life. I've given you enough rope to hang yourself with. I don't know what that means. Maybe that has to do with hints about Melody the stripper he introduced me to in 1988, wearing the rope during a fake high school bachelor party, 2 of them. And these aren't crimes, okay? The only crimes that are being committed is what's being done to Kevin Perelman. Okay, so just like Orbelli taking normal things or common sense things and over dramatizing them with judges, of situations that are no-win situations, because if LAPD, if the Perelman family is paying off LAPD and judges to hunt you and stalk you, and you have an opinion and you're a bad guy for an opinion to try to figure out how to normalize the situation back into what it really is, and speak out about me being a victim and stalked by the police and LAPD and worldwide groups, why would that make the judicial system angry? Why would that make Gregory A. Dohe angry, who states he was angry that I took the Fifth, and he said, you can stay back there because you have nothing to say. There's nothing I can say, as I've learned, because my family's angry about whatever they're angry when I was 5 years old, and everything else is a cover-up. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this short. So this is part of the trial here. Just a couple things. So Shep Zeberman, my representing defense attorney, who is devoutly Jewish, wears a yarmulke, kippah, states that he knows exactly what's going on and he's going to represent me. It takes $50,000. And the next thing you know, he's running around with I can get you out of this. I know the right people in the psychology community. And that's when the red flags go up. What do you mean, get me out of it? Why don't you just expose them? Here's 70 terabytes of video footage I dropped on your desk, a hard drive array. A striped 420 terabyte hard drive array. Okay, down to the minute of events. You know, can you admit you have circumstantial evidence, you have reason to dismiss the case based on a case that can't be won, based on what I'm being told, which I don't think that's true. There's no impeachment of the witnesses. Okay, hey, have you ever harassed Kevin Perelman? Do you know anyone that's ever harassed Kevin Perelman? Are you instigating him in ways to try to make him look crazy? Okay, these are all questions that could be asked on the stand. Are you trying to get reactions to lock him away? Here's video of you yelling at Kevin. You take pictures of kids you're not allowed here, showing that he's linked to Aubrey Fisher and LAPD and Rhodey Morales in 2001, trying to plant the drugs in my house, the trash bag of marijuana, trying to make me look like a drug dealer. He says, I can get you out of this. I know the right lawyers, or the right people in the psychology community. We can get NGI, not guilty of by insanity. And I say, no, are you crazy? You know, win the case. Okay, but he wouldn't with the his corrupt judge friends. Shep also states that he went to college with, I believe, Stephen Marcus or something like that. Okay, showing personal bias. I'm still trying to get court transcripts for fair appeals, but magically the public defender is a young rabbi in the Jewish community, just like Shep Zeberman, who doesn't want to rat out his friend with ineffective assistance of counsel. He doesn't want to say anything bad about procedurally all the things Shep could have done to try to win the case and impeach the witnesses, showing prejudice, ineffective assistance of counsel, prejudice. Some of the community statements in the local area of people Shep's working with, I'm not a real Jew. Okay, well, I'm here to tell you that all my decisions in life, whether I'm Hasidic, devout or not, or go to temple every weekend, all my decisions in life have been closer to the Torah and what God wanted than their criminal activities. And that's all I need for myself. I don't need to prove anything by wearing clothing or because that's all fake. Anyone can do that. So their anger is about speaking out, and nothing else. And I'm not a real Jew shows the judicial prejudice amongst the defense attorney, Shep Zeberman. Shep didn't say it. The people he was sort of protecting did in the Jewish community. Okay, that he has prejudice and that he intentionally lost the case, and the judges are also working in conspiracy to do this while people like Terrence Scroggins are trying to get $15,000 off a couple of scratches on a car, and people in the automotive industry are also linked to this, showing that it is common sense dictates it's more about killing someone in a jail cell, making someone disappear, and making $1 million off a house and some cars. Okay, let's be realistic. However, things are a lot more complex because they start at 5 years old. But if we isolate this one situation, whether those be cover-ups to execute someone or not, well, the guy just wanted money and he got away with it and killed the guy. LAPD is going to try to cover it up with mental illness labelings with the family. This is where things really get weird. And those labels start at 5 years old and get worse and worse the more I prove that I'm a really good person. And everything that is positive is turned around into negatives, like kissing a black girl. I'm then a racist. Worldwide, no relaxing for you, nigger. And we have to rile the masses against you worldwide with the black community. And most importantly, prosecutor Orbelli is taking positive situations like everyone else and making them negative out of hate. Okay, so speaking out about being stalked and mobbed to death is a good thing. You're supposed to do it. Documenting being stalked and mobbed is a good thing. The police tell you to do it if you're not Kevin Perelman. They say document everything. Okay? The breakdown in communication here is that when I go to LAPD with proof of crimes against me, whether they're direct or indirect, because 20 years ago I was dropping 8 terabyte hard drives saying go through this, but the direct things, like the guy with the police trained canine that had the dog attack on cue, that I went to the hospital to stitch up the leg, all on video and photos with Detective Angela Stewart bearing it, Detective Shapiro bearing it. The girl tried to slice me up with a knife, West Valley Police Department bearing it. Officer Toro's death threats: if you ever take a picture of a person, I'll exercise the law in my own way, working with Aubrey Fisher and Rody Morales and LAPD. Because my family in 2001 was mad at me for getting into photography. Actually, they were mad at me for building adult websites in 2001, but 2004, they were mad at me for getting into studio photography or any type of photography. Showing the personal motive, and that not everything on video is based on group instigation and provocation with indirect things, but the direct things on video, LAPD will not document and create a paper trail of innocence. And remember Bailey Bernard, I called the police in 2018 when he follows me home, hits the keys out of my hand going into the gate, and Prosecutor Kareen T. Phillips in 2018 states, I never called the police, and lawyer Seymour Amster refused to impeach the witnesses and subpoena the 911 calls, showing a mass global conspiracy and agenda to eradicate at all costs with the judicial system. Mike Huntley, we are using the judicial system against you. 2001, me in shock. What the fuck's going on, Mike? You had better live a careful life. You don't buy cars. You don't date women. You don't take walks. You don't kiss black girls at 8 years old. Judge Stephen Marcus, which was a temp, which is interesting because they can sort of squeeze him in and make him disappear, right? If my next step would be to squeeze you out of your place, the appeals is missing all of this in the opening statement, and those transcripts were never ordered for the appeals. And the more I try to get them, the more retaliation, not just amongst those judicial employees, but mass circles of outsiders, which is the entire argument from day one, that if I buy a 426 Hemi at 16 and a 1971 Barracuda, and all auto shops are told to stalk, hunt, destroy, try to get me to drive into a wall, what was it? Star Auto House Mercedes, loosening the lug nuts on the Mercedes and saying this is Chuck Norris's car, drive it home to him. You know, we're just fucking with you in a way that we turn you into road pizza. At what point is the never-ending joke and prank no longer a joke? Because 49 years of my life are stolen while I have to walk around in isolation and no one coming forward. Is that funny? Is that a joke? If it was you, would you be laughing? Or would you be, and I'm not even going to proceed on that statement, because at the point that I start going down that level of talking, this is when the judicial system with their mass stalking groups will latch on, saying we're trying to collect anything we can to make this person disappear since 5 years old, anything and everything that Brittany Henderson didn't want to come forward with direct statements about, right? Okay, so once again, my next step would be to squeeze you out of your house. Remember some of the other YouTubes, Terrence Scroggins, that's the man I want to kill. With 300 and, I'm going to say 370 videos, but really about 300 solid videos of Terrence Scroggins' activities with the neighbors and HOA, Homeowners Association. And Terrence Scroggins was on the HOA board in 2017, showing, once again, motive. Not that we don't like this homeowner, not that this homeowner is a public nuisance, but we don't like him, and we're going to take everything he has and kill him or make him disappear because I hate him, okay? And people kill out of hate all the time, and guess what? If there's some perk out of it, like I hate this guy and I can make $1 million at the same time because LAPD is enabling, with the psychology community and the Perelman family, are enabling worldwide groups to hunt and kill without accountability, which is the case, starting in on a 5-year-old. Hey, teacher, English teacher, Miss Vaughn and A. Wright, stalk our child with Tom Farley, Christy Reynolds, Tracy Picos, and have Paul Humphrey latch on to Kevin at 14 at A. Wright Middle School. And remember that Paul Humphrey in 98, when I came back from college, joined LAPD stalking me with Jen Hess and many other women, playing victim. And so, and that's one example of hundreds. I can go through hundreds of women linking to Paul Humphrey coming from all different directions off internet-related chat and everywhere else. And Lisa Marie. And in this stalking network, under someone's ideologies of what is crazy and what is not crazy, but no actual laws being broken. But they're allowed to hunt and kill or break every law known to man in the name of Kevin's crazy statements, hearsay, with no actual clinical labeling other than lack of some hair. And that's it. So the motive is clear: to make someone disappear permanently. Then my next step would be to squeeze you out of your house, your place.
And I'm gonna do my next move is to force you to move out. But anyway.
Motive, premeditation, intent by judges that appear to be friends with Shep Zebberman in the Jewish community. Now I'd have to verify if Stephen Marcus is Jewish. Does it really matter? Shep says he went to school or college or something like that with him, I believe. And that's just one of these many things. This case should have been dismissed instantly. Dohe knows that. All the other judges, Eric Harmon knows that. They all know that. Because they're creating no-win situations. They're using the gray areas of the law with people with law degrees to eradicate at all costs. So why would I not be allowed to get a public defender, which magically a Jewish one sweeps in who's a rabbi? Okay, the Perelman family is paying the public defender, right, to pose as a public defender to lose the case like all the other lawyers. But that can all be stopped by the people to say I could be next and this is unacceptable. And if they don't come forward, then they're just that stupid and that's scary that they don't want freedoms and protection. However, once again, Gregory A. Dohe, or sorry, this is just one example. Stephen Marcus, my next step would be to squeeze you out of your place in conjunction and conspiracy with Prosecutor Orbelli, who the entire case is riddled with hearsay and her fabricating fake and fraudulent situations that never happened with Charles Sean Dinsey, with no actual charges filed. She just states them as if they're true to create harsher sentences and win cases. But the judge and the lawyer should have said there's no relevance. Hearsay, there's no relevance. Orbelli, there's no relevance for your hearsay. Do you have proof? No, I just have statements. Okay, well, that's hearsay. Okay, there's no official charges. It's just hearsay. Okay, you're creating things that don't exist to coerce and manipulate judges who are already on the side of how do we make this guy disappear since 5 years old. And he can't speak out about the nonstop judicial crimes, finding out in 2001 them trying to plant their drugs in my house with Mike Huntley and Roddy Morales. LAPD confiscated marijuana. My gym manager, who was working with LAPD to supposedly catch someone else at our gym that supposedly came from Europe who had killed someone, and Mike Huntley saying, let's sign up to the gym by your house, with Roddy Morales wanting to sort of put me in between the situation of a pattern I notice where people are trying to get me in the middle of investigations to spin off and go after Kevin, which now raises the question of, is the original investigation even real, or is it sort of some kind of cover-up to get Kevin in the middle of judicial processes to make him disappear for good with cover-up alibis? Mike Huntley, we're using the judicial system against you. And they've done this over and over. Over and over. And if you read some of the investigative reports, we were just in the middle of an investigation, and then we noticed Kevin Perelman, and Kevin Perelman is just trying to go out and live his life. He's trying to get fresh air and use his college degree and make money like I have my entire life. And the Perelman family is angry with their paid-off judicial friends, taking every positive with these worldwide groups and turning them into negatives in the eyes of the planet of people to try to justify stalking and hunting and lies about being a public nuisance, to kill and get away with it, or eradicate and get away with it, called gaslighting, gang stalking, or judicial operations like COINTELPRO, to eradicate people for having too much information, or profiling, or fear. I'm afraid of this 5-year-old. I think he might. We have the right to squeeze him out of his place and every other place since 5 years old and force him into a cage out of hate. Period. Hate crime. H-A-T-E. Hate. With unlimited government resources. Now, that's what these worldwide groups are helping. Do they know any better? You gotta know better. Because they're laughing and they're snickering like it's a joke. And remember one thing. I was labeled crazy before ever doing anything that appeared crazy. The sentence alone is the justification to execute a 5-year-old with unlimited worldwide resources. Okay, so once again, for the 100th time, motive, intent, premeditation, execution, all the variants of first-degree murder. My next step would be to squeeze you or force you out of your place, showing premeditation and hate from judicial judges. And that also applies to Gregory A. Dohe, anger and cover-ups, Eric Harmon, Neetu Bottom Smith, and many others, with defense attorneys, prosecutors, Seymour Amster, Shep Zeberman, Richard Barnwell, who intentionally lied. I didn't show up in court. Getting warrants, black. Johnny Cochran firm, black. Showing racial hatred towards the Jewish community. And the no relaxing for you nigger, death threats. With worldwide support. And you don't think people need to come forward about that? You're crazy. If you want to cover that up with the masses, you got to be insane. But that's happening. So what are the people protecting? Communism, socialism, 1940s, Holocaust. That's what this generation wants the United States to become. Whether they understand what they're involved in or not. My next step would be Judge Stephen Marcus would be my next step, obsessed stalking, would be to force you out of your place with the Perelman family, force you into a hate cage out of pure hatred for a 5-year-old Jewish child who has been an exceptional person for 54 years and is not allowed to have a voice, a mouth, to say you've been lied to. If that's not important, I don't know what is. And my freedoms are important too.
And I'm gonna do my next move is to force you to move out. But anyway,